want to welcome you all. My name is David Eisen. I'm the editor-in-chief of the QuestX Hospitality Group. We've got a great panel this afternoon, growth markets for investors and brands. Get a good chance for everyone in the audience to learn about these three destinations that will be introducing themselves in just a second. I wanted to just get a breakdown of the room. If you could let us know who you represent, who you are. Who are the investors in the room? Show of hands. Management companies, anything? What is the kind of... Marriott, okay. Brands, so some brands in here? Very good. Oh, good. Marriott and Hilton, they're sitting right across from each other. Perfect. What I would like to do, actually, is since I am American and I can butcher names, with the best of them, I was going to let them introduce themselves, who you are, who you're with, and maybe 20 seconds of why you came to IHIF. What are you trying to get out of a conference like this? So we'll start with Salim here.
Yeah, so my name is Salim Mikram. I'm the head of investment promotion department in the Moroccan Agency for Tourism Development. So Moroccan Agency for Tourism Development is the corporate arm of the Ministry of Tourism, designing tourism concepts, promoting investments, as well as connecting foreign investors with local partners in Morocco. So that's basically what we do.
Okay. Hello everyone, my name is Henki Manoro, the same position. I'm the head of tourism development, especially for investment for Indonesia. And then our interest to join with this event is looking for many investor or funding or brand to come to Indonesia. Thank you.
Thanks, Henki.
Hello, good afternoon. My name is Cesar Castañeda. I am Minister of Tourism of the state of Colima in Mexico. And the same thing, the main goal of coming to this event is to search for investors. We are developing a congress center. We are searching for hotels and brands for operation as well.
See, I would have got all those names wrong, so that's why I let them do it. But we want to make this very interactive. So if you guys have any questions you want answered, just raise your hand and I will make sure to call on you. So my first question actually is directed for Henki. Last December marks the launch of the Asian Economic Bloc. And that bloc aims to promote the flow of trade, skilled workers, and investment. Do you think the 10-member bloc will be successful? What are the obstacles, and how do you perceive Indonesia's place within it?
I believe it will be successful. For the last 5 years, Indonesia has proven to have a series of positive economic performance, including China and India. This achievement have made Indonesia to be prepared for the upcoming globalization era in ASEAN region. As for the challenge, there are almost no significant challenge that Indonesia has not been prepared for. Indonesia has prepared the system and regulation for certification that was recognized for other ASEAN countries. We also have a more open investment regulation for foreign investor. We also really believe that the ASEAN bloc will be successful. Thank you.
Good. Now you're not Imad, he's not here, but Salim is taking his place. So I wanted to ask you, if you can discuss Morocco's Vision 2020, the country's aim at increasing tourism and hospitality investment. Can you explain that program and how has it fared up to now?
Okay, so Vision 2020 is basically the framework under which the tourism industry in Morocco is operating. It's a very senior vision, very senior strategy that's been designed and conceived by the government with the full backing of the highest authority in the country, which is the king. It's been launched in 29. What is important to mention also is that it's a continuation of a previous vision, which was called Vision 2010. And it's been pretty successful. This vision has been pretty successful. And that's what encourages in Morocco to actually come up with a new vision to really, keep on developing the industry for 2010. So, what are the main objectives of the vision? Is basically to double the bedding capacity in Morocco. 2010 bedding capacity. We're about 200,000 beds in Morocco in 2010. So, the objective is to create another 200,000 for 2020. There was also very specific objective was to raise about $15 billion investment for the industry over the decade in order to develop land, to develop hotel resorts, and also in some of specific cultural tourism programs as well. And also probably one of the most important objective was to actually position Morocco amongst the first 20 destinations worldwide. So that was the, that's
the plan.
Yeah, that's the plan. So how is it fared? How is it fared? Well, actually pretty good regarding I would say the prevailing market conditions over the last few years. You've been, obviously following the news, and you've seen like what's been happening over the last few years in our region, and so it's been a very challenging environment. But yet we think that. For instance, in terms of bedding capacity, we've created more than 80,000 new beds. So that's approximately, a bit more than a third of the objective at midterm. So, I mean, and we're in a period of investment. So we reckon in the next few years is going to be much better.
Is there a particular segment that you're looking to fill out? Is it, Morocco obviously is known for kind of their lavish luxury hotels.
Exactly.
Is there a population now that's looking for, mid-scale lodging, even economy lodging in Morocco?
There are definitely some opportunities in the economic and mid-scale segments. Accor Hotel, which is the management brand, has been present in Morocco for over 30 years, and it's launched its Ibis and Ibis Budget brands in the last 3 or 4 years, and it's quite a success. Mm-hmm. So indeed, it's known. Morocco is quite known for its luxury hotels, for its upper upscale hotels, but also definitely great opportunities on that segment as well. And also I'll have probably the opportunity to develop this boutique and lifestyle hotel is big in Morocco. We've got a very rich cultural assets. We've got about 7 cities which are classified as a World Heritage by UNESCO, and they're potentially every single building or unit there can be refurbished, can be transformed into very unique hotels, boutique hotels. So I strongly believe in this segment.
See, I always thought that boutique and lifestyle was just a U.S. thing, but it seems like it's everywhere.
Definitely.
I'm going to leave you out, Cesar, down there. Does Mexico kind of have a vision in place, kind of like Morocco, about how to drive more investment, tourism to the country as a whole, but also to your region specifically?
Yes, absolutely. Well, first of all, Mexico as a country has been experiencing an extremely interesting growth rate. We are the 10th most visited country in the world. And from 2014 to 2015, we grew we went from 29 million visitors international to 32 million visitors. So this is an almost 10% growth in terms of number of people. We're mainly concentrating into the escalating of the quality of services to bring more income from these visitors that are coming to the country. But yet, last year we also had an increase of 7.5% of recipes from international visitors. But the main driver in the country, the main driver for the market, which is also very good because this allows us to go through financial crisis and company, is that the country itself has a large market in the domestic market. And Mexicans traveling throughout the country grew for about 5.5% last year. So definitely tourism, which is 10% of our GDP, is a key aspect of the economy. With the actual oil prices, actually the national government is seeking to increase the importance of tourism as a generator of wealth in the country. And specifically in our state, we're looking for investments to make a congress center because we have the most important port of exports and imports on the Pacific coast, but also to improve the number, to increase the number of hotels, improve the quality, and to give certain properties in operation to larger brands.
Maybe actually give the audience, because I didn't know, a quick geography lesson. I know everyone probably knows where Indonesia, Morocco are specifically on a map, but give us exactly the location that you're speaking of.
The state. I am Minister of Tourism of the state of Colima. The state of Colima is based on the Pacific coast. It's very near to the city of Guadalajara, which is the second largest in the country, and it's the third smallest state. But we have 2 volcanoes, we have pine forests, we have jungle, and the beach, and the most important port of the country.
And you have surfing, I hear.
And a very good surfing spot. It's one of the best spots in the world. It's called Pascuales, and we have people coming to surf from all over the world.
We can get this later, but
Sure.
I mean, for you, what about airlift coming into there? What does that look like?
Well, the actual connectivity, we have direct flights from several cities in the United States, a couple in Canada. We have charters from Canada throughout the winter. Actually, for a Mexican state, this is a very strange combination. We have almost the same number of Canadians and Americans coming to the destination, but 90% of the market is domestic.
90%.
And then we have connectivity with Monterrey, with Mexico City, and other national cities.
Mm-hmm. That's actually a good segue, because I wanted to ask our friends from Indonesia and Morocco, what does that look like? What's kind of your mix between domestic and international visitors? Is it still mostly, slanted towards domestic travelers within Morocco, within Indonesia, or are you getting a lot more international visitors as well? So, Henki, you want to answer that one? Or you can answer? Go ahead.
Yeah, sure. Up until now, like foreign tourists have been very, very present in Morocco, and that was like the target of most government like institutions to bring foreign tourists over in Morocco. But over the last few years, we've noticed that domestic tourism has also increased a lot. So. We, up until probably 2010, we were about 80% international travelers against about 20% domestic, and now it's more than 40% for domestic in 2015. So, yeah, it's been quite a surge in tourism, in domestic tourism.
Henki, where are most of your visitors coming from then?
We have the new cabinet with Mr. Jokowi, our president, and the lucky of us, this is the period when tourism is the main sector for development. And my minister targeted 2019 is 20 million foreign tourists. But the amazing number is our Indonesia movement. We have now close to 250 million movement of Indonesia people. And then the last point is 40% of Indonesia people now is A-class income. They can buy everything, and they can stay and make a reservation for the more than 5-star hotel now for Indonesia. And they have money, and now many brand hotel go to the small island to develop new resort like Raja Ampat, because the local or the domestic tourist is powerful to buy everything for tourism. That's it.
So I'll ask this question, open it up to everyone on the panel. It's kind of like asking you what your pitch is to the people out here. Why foreign, direct investment in general? How are you looking to kind of, attract more of that? And what are some of the maybe incentives, special financing offers, those types of things? What's in place to kind of, attract more foreign investment within your areas? So.
Well, in our case, we have a very aggressive strategy. As in the case of Indonesia, our government is just starting. It's going to be there for 6 years. We're offering tax exemption for investments. We're on the state level. We're offering also municipal taxes reductions. All the paperwork and help with the installation of new investments. Or the negotiation with existing properties that will be willing to be operated by other companies or larger brands. And then, well, as a country, well, we have all the access to NAFTA trade agreement with the United States and Canada, which are our main target markets for this area, and a great connectivity. So all these elements allow us to take advantage of this growth of the tourism in the industry in the country.
Yes, same with me. Same with us. For foreign direct investment, now the new regulation for the permit, all permit, like the manpower, like the tax, is just 3 hours services. And then for the incentive is duty free for the all equipment for operational out your property. And then we guarantee all the security and safety now. And no corruption for Indonesia. That's it.
Yeah, as for to attract foreign investors, the efforts have been put into infrastructure and domestic investing in the country. You've got like some very, very wonderful sites in Morocco, but usually what happens is that the infrastructure is not sometimes following, especially in some remote places. So the government has been putting in place funding in order to upgrade the infrastructure, especially on transport infrastructure, and there are a lot of projects who have been going on roads networks, for instance, high motorways. Also, air connection is obviously an important part. So we've been launching together with the Ministry of Transport an upgrade program of airports in Morocco, and that's been pretty good. As far as incentives are concerned, I usually don't talk about it first. But because we do believe in Morocco that an investor has to come because of the opportunities that are there, and because it's a nice place to invest. I do buy my phone because I like it, not because it is cheap or because there's a discount on it. That said, we understand that incentives are very important. So there are like some very, very strong and very aggressive incentives, such as corporate tax exemption, VAT tax on imported capital expenditures for more than 3 years. And also there are some strong subsidies from Moroccan Sovereign Fund on land developments. And it is actually subsidizing land acquisition up to 50% of the land value. So yeah, there are definitely schemes. And in the Moroccan Agency for Tourism Development, we do help investors in getting all the approvals, going through the administration in Morocco in order to get these advantages. And
What are the for investors out there that are looking to make inroads in your countries? Particularly, let's say take one from the U.S. looking to do a development in Indonesia, in Morocco, in Mexico. Do you need a local partner? Can they come in alone? What are the kind of what's your advice there? How they go about doing it, getting the project off the ground?
Well, the business environment in the case of Mexico is very easy for foreign investors to come. There's a wide range of agreements that can be made, either being partnered with a local company or coming alone or just buying a property or just operating a property. It's quite open. The advantage, for example, for in the case of your question from the US, is that we're very well integrated. And this facilitates investment. But actually, the main reason why we're here is because, we have the American investors and Spanish investors with a very close relationship. But the reason to be here is to look for different tourist markets and to be known and present ourselves to markets from Asia or from the Middle East, for example.
Right.
For Indonesia, all the foreign direct investor can invest on the 30 business unit, like star hotel, restaurant, or travel agent, and many things. And then they don't need to make join with the local partner because Indonesia is more openness now.
More openness.
Yes.
They can just do it on their own. And good.
That's it.
Well, how about from the aspect of foreign direct investment? Where are your investors right now coming from? Are they U.S. based? Are they Asia based? Where are they, pouring that capital in from?
Well, in our case, let's say maybe 30% or 40% is coming from national capital. Then the US, Canada, and Spain are the main three investors. Then come France, England, Germany. We've seen some new investments from Brazil and Colombia as well, but in a smaller range. We definitely are looking for working with a I don't know, Chinese, Singapore. Well, Banyan Tree is present already, or Saudis, for example. There's little relationship with the source markets, and we are looking to increase this connectivity, mainly in our state specifically, because since we already have large investments from Asia in terms of logistics and imports and exports, we want to take advantage of that to bring it to the tourism area and make a combination of business and leisure product.
What's the supply picture where you are? I mean, it sounds to me like you're looking to build more hotels, that there is a demand for it. I know you have a cruise port there too.
Yes.
How does that all kind of play into it?
Well, the cruise is working fine. Since the last 4 years it's been growing, because with the financial crisis in the States, it went quite down. In terms of rooms, well, Mexico as a country is building, last year built 27,700 rooms. So this is a large growth rate. In our specific case, in our state, we're looking to increase at least to double our room capacity in order to be able to cope with this growth. And we're also building a congress center for the next year.
So there's certainly a demand there, and you need more. See that? There you go.
Exactly.
That's the reason to build there. More hotels, because you have the demand for it.
Exactly.
What about you as you pour your water? Where is your investment coming from as it stands right now?
Yeah, historically, France and Spain have been quite involved in Morocco in the last, well, starting in the 70s and 80s. But after that, I reckon our main target has been the Gulf countries, so all the Middle Easterns, like Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, Emirates, and they've been investing quite heavily in Morocco, in land development and as well in hotel developments. They actually own quite a few hotel units in Casablanca, in Marrakesh. It's quite a big investor.
Now, my assumption, let me know if I'm incorrect, that the bulk of your travelers, these are leisure destinations, correct? Are you playing? What is the kind of percentage there? Are you getting more corporate travel, and also what about meetings, incentive travel? Is that a part of kind of your whole programs, plans?
Yeah. For Indonesia, Bali is the best MICE meeting destination, I think. And then now Jakarta and surround Jakarta, we have 3 big convention center now. And then the one of our target is MICE tourists. But the key point is local brand, local company make many national meeting in not just Jakarta now.
Right.
They are going another province out of Jakarta and Bali. That's the strong point for us now.
Anyone out there been to Bali before?
Yes.
Now you have reason to go. Okay, the one person on our panel, very good. What is the? I'd like to know kind of the composition of one of the reasons you guys are all here at this conference is to kind of attract the brand to take more notice in your destination. So what is the breakdown now of your inventory, branded versus independent hotels? And how do the global brands, you think, view your countries for development? And maybe you can talk about some of the, I don't know if you've had discussions, with the Marriott, the Hiltons, the Accor hotels of the world. How does that all play?
Well, in our state specifically, we have about 80% local brands and 20% international brands, which is not the case for the country. The development, as we were discussing before the beginning of the conference, is that we had our glory time in the 70s and 80s, and then investments went to other areas like Puerto Vallarta or Cancun or the Mayan Riviera. So the idea is to bring back new investments, and this is why we're here to bring international brands to establish themselves in the area. The easiest one will be international brands that are already present in the country in other areas that will be willing to expand. But of course, we are interested in bringing other brands from different areas that have not yet done business in Mexico.
What are some of those international brands that are there now?
That are now. Well, we have Barceló, we have several Accord trademarks, we have American brands like the Hiltons, almost all the big brands from the States in Europe and Canada are present. But we have, for example, no Wandas, we have almost no Chinese presence. So this is the mix we want to.
So you think there's an opportunity there for Chinese investment into?
Sure, at least to target the American market, the American Chinese market, which is already huge, to bring it to the country.
Because they know the Wanda name, is that?
Exactly,
Right.
and they have travel trends that normally use Chinese companies to travel.
So they're more inclined to travel to a destination if they're doing it
there
maybe
is
with a Chinese
Chinese
brand
brand.
or a travel provider.
Absolutely.
How about you two?
For Indonesia, now Accor Hotel reached to 110 hotel for Indonesia.
No.
It's crazy. But more additional hotel again, and not just for the capital city, go to another second city. And I think all the brand already go there. The last one I hear, Trump Hotel will be in Jakarta. And then,
Jakarta is a huge hub for corporate travel.
but still need Trump Hotel to make it in Jakarta more completely.
Still need more.
Completely for
Okay.
the huge or luxury hotel.
It needs more hotels.
Yes.
Okay. Always more. How about you in Morocco? Then?
Yeah, I think we're actually quite visible on the map for hotel management companies, and we've recently we've got a lot of very recognized hotel brands going into operations in Morocco, and there have been, well, Sofitel has been there for ages. There's, Barceló, Sheraton, Hyatt Regency. There's been also, there's a Four Seasons that's just opened in Casablanca recently. A banyan tree is planned for Marrakesh as well, if it's not already open. So yeah, we're like our focus would be more to now attract investors like foreign investors and also American or British investors into Morocco, because they're still not like they still don't know, Morocco. They don't like really put it in the map. So
is that because
yes.
they need more kind of education about it, or what is?
Definitely. Yeah. These are the obstacles. They do need education about it. This is an effort promotion really, because historically Morocco has always been linked to. It's a French-speaking country, right? French is still the business language, bien sûr. Yeah. And so there are a lot of French investors, as I said, some Gulf investors as well. So we will try to expand to more American and British investors. Before management brands, it's quite.
Is the concentration for development? Is it Marrakesh? Is it Casablanca? What are the pockets that still are looking to be that need more development if they already have it?
Yeah, in the urban hotel, like definitely Marrakesh and Casablanca are the biggest cities, the more mature destinations in Morocco. I would like also to talk about a very nice seaside resort development that is being built now close to the city of Agadir, which is called Tarazout Bay, and it's actually a surf spot as well. It's very renowned over surfers, like surfer niche market. And today we're trying to expand it and to try to broaden the target, and the tourists are coming in this,
droves.
Yeah.
So that's an opportunity though for investment.
Definitely.
That's a pocket
Definitely.
that people you have to educate them on, because they might, an investor might know about Morocco, Casablanca, Tangier, but a place like that is kind of a little bit off the trail, so to speak.
Exactly.
Right. Where are we now? I wanted to ask you all about kind of your operating model, because ownership operations of a hotel, it differs, country to country, region to region. So can you talk a bit about your operating models? Does the property owner typically, manage the property as well as own it? Are they leasing it out? Is it very, in the States, in the US, it's very much a fragmented process. There can be many stakeholders. So how does that what does that look like in terms of how it's all kind of set up from an ownership operation standpoint?
No, in our case, there's many investors that actually build the hotel but do not manage it, even if it's another Mexican brand that will do the managing. And this is an opportunity to change and look for new markets by passing the brand or the hotel to different brands to operate it. Some big national brands do own their own hotels, and some others work, as in the US, with different combinations of partnerships.
Okay, for Indonesia, both of the model are probably acceptable and applicable in Indonesia. But the tendency that has happened is that after several periods of time, the hotel owner tend to create their own hotel. For example, the Jakarta Hilton Hotel has transformed into the Sultan Hotel, and 100% Indonesia hotelier management.
Is our Hilton guy still here?
No.
What happened there
I
then?
guarantee for that. No.
So it was the Jakarta Hilton, and then they took it to made it
be
independent
Sultan,
hotel?
yes, independent hotel.
What
Still
was,
work.
what was the calculus there? Why did they do that? They weren't getting the return they thought?
I don't know exactly, but they can manage by on.
Okay. Our Hilton guy doesn't have an answer for that? Oh, okay. Now we see. Got it. How about for you?
Well, in Morocco, it's pretty easy, really. You've got two models. The model which is like the historical model, and which has been applied by Accor Hotel, and which usually build, own, and operate. So it's like integrated model. But for the last developments, but I would say for the last 10, 20 years now, you've got more and more investors who are actually developing the hotel and working in partnership with operating management companies, and that's the new trend now. A lot of Gulf investors have been doing that. Also, a lot of Moroccan institutional investors have been, such as I have in mind Barcelona Hotel, which is in Casablanca, which follows this model. So the building is owned by an institutional, and obviously the operator is an international brand. So.
Is it like a franchise agreement? Is that how it looks?
Yeah. It's it can be a franchise. It's also management. No, it's management agreement with management fees.
Right. Okay. And any questions from the audience? Now's your time. They're thinking at once. I'll ask another one.
Yeah,
So
I got a question.
Yeah.
What are some of the incentives with regards to foreign investment?
He was out of the room when I asked that one before.
You already answered, Alexis.
Was it already?
We'll say. No, Rita. What happened? Just to kind of piggyback off that. What about kind of what are your governments doing kind of specifically to facilitate, more tourism? Like, are there visa issues, anything around that? But how are they looking to facilitate more tourism, and B, to kind of make it easier for an investor to come in and do a project?
For Indonesia government, we make it all more easier. Just 3 hours, you can have the 8 permit, like manpower, tax number, and then principal permit for starting investment. And then if you don't have legal company, our government will give you the notariat or the legal to open the new PT, and then location permit, and then starting to build building is 8 permit you can get in the 3 hours now.
Okay.
That's one.
Yes, in Morocco you've got the corporate tax exemption. From starting total corporate tax exemption for the first 5 years of operations, and afterwards it's a 50% cut on the corporate tax. So that's the first incentive there. And there also a total VAT tax exemption on capital expenditures for the first 3 years since inception. custom duties, same thing, is about a total exemption for the first 3 years since inception. And there's also a direct involvement of government in some of the projects, as it is subsidizing up to 50% of land value. This is in order to facilitate the land purchase. And by the way, I didn't answer the question just about partnership in Morocco. I think what I have to say is it's absolutely free to for a foreign investor to come into Morocco and start a project. There's no requirements such as in some countries where you need to partner with the local.
Right.
You know, it's like a legal requirement that you have to have a partner, a local partner. This is no such thing in Morocco. However, we do strongly recommend to to partner with local investors, as you know, there are some cultural barriers there where a local partner will surely help you to overcome. So,
is there a threshold for investment? A certain minimum, a certain maximum, anything?
Yeah, for the subsidy in land development, there's a $10 million
Right. US.
US, yeah, which is 100 million dirhams, local currency.
Right. You know, a question I think people forget to ask is that obviously building hotels, infrastructure, all that, it's a very labor-intensive. It's very labor-intensive. So can you talk? Where's the labor coming from when you're building? Are investors depending on foreign labor for the projects? Are they using local? I mean, is that a job creator right there? Are they using local labor to build out infrastructure, to build hotels, to build the cruise port and restaurants, F&B? How does that look?
Yes, well, at least in our case, it's definitely a local workforce. And tourism is definitely a great source of labor. Almost all the projects include local workforce. And in the case of, those are for construction, but then the creation of jobs, there's also programs for education and for training that can help from the government side, the investors.
How about you, Heikki?
Okay, intra-ASEAN region, 30 job title already open for ASEAN labor. But Indonesia now, the people is ready work for tourism field because we have now 7 university of tourism by government and 20 university by private.
There are hospitality schools, correct me if I'm wrong, in
Yes.
Indonesia that are actually subsidized by some of the U.S. brands, right? Or some of the hotel brands that are out there, right? Because I know Indonesia has the customer service there is impeccable, by the way.
Yeah, with smile every
With a smile every time, very, very good. So I applaud you for that. I'm sure the customer service in Morocco is good too.
No, in Morocco it's quite extensive labor force, so to use in the country. So there's not really problem about that. And there's also the I would say the law regulation, the labor regulations are quite investors friendly. So I mean this is still very attractive for investors to come and take advantage from that. And there's also we do have universities to train people, especially in the cities of Agadir and Marrakesh, and this is very important for us as well. And they are sponsorized by government as well. So another incentive that I might add also is that in tourism linked projects, the government pays up to 50% of training costs as well. So there's a direct involvement of the government in training.
All right, so now I'll ask you. You can kind of be, showcase your countries. Can you talk about some notable projects that are going on right now, or maybe that are in the pipeline?
In general, in the country we're building the first high-speed train, I think in the Americas, that will connect Toluca and Mexico City, which helps us in terms of connectivity for different cities because these are alternate.
That sounds like so it's going to connect. It's going to all over Mexico. What is the connect? Like where the because in the U.S. we have Amtrak, which is just horrible and it's slower than. No one wants to take it, but
This is going to be like an European fast train, and it's going to connect Mexico City with Toluca, which are not very far.
It's going to connect Mexico City with where?
With Toluca.
Okay.
Toluca is a city in the central area as well, but they both have important airports.
Yeah.
And the Mexico City airport is going to be used for another 10 years, but we already started building the new airport, which is going to be ready like in about 10 years. And it's going to be by far the largest in Latin America, looking to create a real hub. The actual Mexico City airport has no more place for another flight. It's every, I don't know, whatever the security limit is, every 30 seconds or something. So this is why Toluca Airport is very important to help distribute flights throughout the country. And specifically in the state of Colima, where I come from, and the city of Manzanillo, the Congress Center is basically the main driver in terms of.
When is that rail system? When will that be completed then?
That'll be ready in 2017.
2017.
Yes. Well, it's already on call.
Okay. What about any notable like resort projects, city projects? What are
Absolutely. In the second semester of this year, one big company from Hong Kong, Meridian Capital, starting to build integrated tourism area. 5-star hotel, 3-star, and 4-star, and then marina. And the amount is $500 million US dollar.
Where is this again?
Raja Ampat, Papua.
Okay.
And then they will bring 200 catamaran to make it easy to visit all the area in Indonesia. That's the big one. But for the infrastructure, same with Mexico. Jakarta, we will have the new airport. And then same road, toll road, and then everything for infrastructure. The government supporting to increase all the infrastructure for Indonesia.
Okay.
That's it.
Morocco?
Yeah. I think it's one name really. We've been building a very nice resort on the Atlantic coast, which is called Taghazout Bay. I think I've already talked about it. But I mean, this is really a big thing in Morocco. It's part of the Azure plan, which aims to develop seaside resorts, and it's already very well known among surfers at the moment. And we're trying to broaden, as I said, the target, and that's going to be, I'm sure, quite a huge name over the next a few years. And if you from an investor perspective, if you think about it, Morocco is the only country in the south shore of the Mediterranean which has a face on the Atlantic coast. It's the only country there, so it means that you've got like the Atlantic coast experience, and you've got ideal climate conditions. Which means that, and it's the only country, so it means when it has reached maturity, this project is going to be hard to duplicate elsewhere. And that's from an investor perspective, that's something to think about and get there right now, while it's still attractive.
Right to the taking, right?
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to ask this question to Henki, but actually it can be kind of push for all of you. Now, Southeast Asia is witnessing an uptick actually in organized crime, as I did some research. And that's thanks in part to this kind of increasing economic integration. In a recent UN Office on Drugs and Crime report called on ASEAN countries to kind of band together to upgrade coordinated security measures. And what their quote was that currently the ASEAN institutional agenda for countering transnational crime is not moving at the same speed as the trade and migration side of the integration agenda. So can you address this and kind of appease anyone out there in the audience as to why it's still safe to invest in Indonesia?
Still safe. Why? Because now our government is make like a war for drugs.
The war on drugs.
Yeah, drugs and terrorists.
Yeah.
Because 12th January, that's I think will be the last bomb accident for Indonesia in Jakarta, indicated by Syria or ISIS, and then now Indonesia is the market of drugs. And the funny or the unlucky of us, our neighbor is the distributor to Indonesia. I don't want to say the country, but that's the fact, because they produce, they make it narcotic there and bring by boat to
Right.
Indonesia. That's our problem. Our security for sea security still open and too easy to make drug distribution by sea. But still safe. Why? Because now every week all the government, all the police, all the government employee I am in here make it the urine test every week until every month.
So there's been a large investment in security then
Yeah.
in the country too.
And then hopefully this year Indonesia can be reduce all the impact of the drugs because we have problem now about consumption drug now.
Yeah.
For the young people, but I believe we are the big country and we can problem solving for that. And I don't care about the ASEAN because the distributor country is ASEAN country too. I don't want to mention who, but
Sure.
it's very crazy now. That's it.
Well, I'll ask you, Cesar. They caught El Chapo again, right? So there's no. What are the? Are there? There were. To be honestly, there were those kind of tabloid stories about American tourists going there, and there were some whatever kidnappings, that kind of stuff. The drugs. What is? Give us the kind of the state of the state of Mexico. Where are you with drugs in the same way that he was talking?
Well, in general, in Mexico as a country, first, because in Colima we almost have no problem. In our state, it's quite peaceful, and my house is always open, for example. So. But in general, in the country, yes, there's a situation concerning this problematics. I think that the numbers speak for themselves. Growing from 29 million tourists to 32 should be somewhere. Someone is right somewhere. The other thing is also the way the media treat the matters, because crime rates in Mexico in almost 95% of the cities are lower than the cities in the States. But we always are in the first page, in the front page. So this is also another element of how the news are promoted. Definitely, most of the problematic situations are concentrated in the northern states, in the border
states.
Exactly.
Okay.
And but in general, I mean, the construction of a large pipeline of hotels and the huge growth in investment, in foreign investment in general, but in tourism specifically, gives us an idea of what the market is feeling about investing in the country.
But El Chapo is not going to escape again, right?
We're going to send it to the Americans.
Right. We'll keep going. Any security issues in Morocco that, from a security standpoint?
Yeah, nothing that I can think of. I mean, Morocco is a very safe country. It's a very safe country. Yeah, you might probably think about the Arab Spring and all this. We've been relatively spared of all the turmoil that has happened in the MENA region. So, it's a very safe country. It's still very different from what's happening on the region. Just some political background. The reigning monarchy, reigning dynasty in Morocco is the second oldest reigning dynasty in the world. After the Japanese imperials, I think. So it gives an indication that it's not like it's stable. It's stable. As for urban crimes and this sort of things, it's also very safe. I talk about my experience. I've been to some countries such as Brazil, for instance. I mean, lovely country, of course, but I mean, in terms of security, this kind of security concerns. In Morocco, there's no such things. It's quite safe. It's quiet.
Well, the Olympics are coming up in Brazil, so I hope they get that all ironed out.
Definitely.
What about environmental concern? Sustainability. Obviously, in Bali resorts in Morocco, I'm sure, and same as in Mexico. What should investors know regarding kind of environmental regulation or concern that way when they're investing or building?
Please, Morocco.
Sorry.
Environmental concern. I mean, maybe more so. It would be more so Indonesia. I think you have a lot of places on water and those types of tropical landscape. I've never been to Indonesia myself. I need to. Maybe I can stay with you when I go. But or
Yes,
maybe
please.
you have a place in Bali for me.
Yes,
But
please.
is there that environmental concern and sustainability? I'm sure is very important.
Yeah, I just want to give one example. This is the new one. I think same like in Berlin or another country. In our supermarket now, we must buy the plastic. All the customer.
All the customers.
Before, we can take free. That's the one example. We are very concerned about environment and plastic issue.
Right.
And then the second one, now we are very strict to the company who make the bad waste management. And we can close the hotel or the restaurant if they cannot manage the waste management.
Okay.
That's it.
In Morocco, it's quite a big thing. Sustainability is really at the heart of the Vision 2020 and the tourism strategy. We in Morocco have some desert resorts. Obviously, environment and sustainability and these topics are very important, because as Minister of Tourism, as the Moroccan Agency for Tourism Development, if we don't care about this, we may spoil, the site and just lose tourism opportunities. So it's very important. I have to mention that Morocco is hosting the COP22 in November this year. So. That shows also the country's involvement in the environment. So I would say save the date.
Save the date. Send out
In November this year, starting the 8th of November. Yeah.
We're getting close to the end, so I'll ask any questions from the audience. If not, I'll ask the last one. No? Okay. So. What's your final pitch out there? Why invest in your countries? Give us your elevator pitch. You're in an elevator with the CEO of Hilton Worldwide, or a private equity fund, or a sovereign wealth, a big king, a sultan. What's your pitch to them, or why they should invest in your destinations? You got 20 seconds. What do you say to them?
Well, first of all, there is a huge opportunity to come to the Mexican market. We can easily guarantee a domestic demand and an important growth in the North American market. Given the actual economic situation, well, this is a very good option. We actually have a great number of leads that are coming to the country, and particularly in our state, we wanted to bring some of those to our state. Let's say the wave is already there, so we only have to get into our surfboard.
For me, please come to Indonesia and invest your money for Indonesia.
There you go. Short and sweet. Give me your money.
Morocco, what I would say is very close, yet so far. I mean, that sums up what it is, because it's very close to Europe, very close to one of the biggest tourist source, and it's still a very different experience from what you can find elsewhere, and very diverse as well, whether it's nature or culture experience. So this, yeah.
And for my money, the greatest movie of all time is, Casablanca, Rick's Cafe, that whole
Indeed.
thing. So,
oh yeah.
working on that.
You know that. Okay, good.
All right. Well, thank you all. Appreciate you taking the time.
Thank you.
Thank you.